By First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Early break.
All I can still picture is him talking to Bill Murray's son. And that was one of my, I could just see him. Hey, listen, your dad was awesome in stripes, but you need to shuddy. You need to shuddy.
Shut your mouth,
Shuddy.
Mr. Murray.
Yes, your dad was incredible. And what about Bob? Just stop.
I've never heard shuddy before.
Hey,
I love Groundhog. I'm going with that now forever. I love
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
That it is. Welcome in another day here during On the Block. Austin Orman with you at 1040 O Street. That man getting ready to hit the road, but still popping on remotely. Strick 20. What's up, partner? Was good.
What up, Austin? How are you down there in good old Lincoln on this beautiful sunny day?
Dude, it's great. Sun is shining. It's a cool temperature without being cold. Warm enough that you can take a little bit of a walk in it. And there's a beautiful view out the window. I can't ask for much more. How are you, partner?
I'm all right, man. All packed and ready to go. Meeting set for the companies that I happen to run, as well as check in and meet with the director and the producer of the movie. And as well as spend some time with family, and a birthday on Saturday for my good friend, Shauna Coleman. Shout out to her. And yeah, man, all good. It's going to be a great little weekend. Well, and a little plus work. I've come to the conclusion, Austin, that I like, there was a song, I think, I can't remember his name, but it's called Work Hard, Play Hard, right? Yeah, right. You got to kind of have a balance, man. I've figured out in life, man, that balance, work-life balance, and just balance, period, and whatever you're doing is important. And so I look at it as doing multiple things whenever I make my trips, except, when I had the privilege of going, to Thailand and the Philippines and Europe. Those are more just going and explore. But I try to mix it in, you know what I'm saying? So that way nothing's lost in the the time. Other than going out there as well to Dallas for the holidays. That was really nice to get a chance to spend Christmas and New Year's time frame with them. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You missed us. You're away for a while.
Did.
We missed you, but I'm glad you at least had a good time. We were here just pouting, trying to get Stricky back. But you know what? You were enjoying family, and that's important, obviously. Also important, it'll make any family gathering better, the Mercado. Every type of meat, every type of cut. They have 3 locations in Lincoln and 1 up in Omaha. Wherever it is you're listening to us, you are probably within a short drive of a Mercado location. 84th and Havelock, 85th and Old Cheney, and then 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, as well as 168th and Maple Streets up there in the O. They have Fired Up Thursday tomorrow at, I believe it's their Old Cheney location, and then Fired Up Fridays at their Havelock location here in Lincoln. It's like a $15 meal. It is absolutely worth it every time. Find the Mercado online and on social media as well to figure out what they're going to have for Fired Up Thursday and Fired Up Friday. 402-464-5685. Cubs Crew, what's up? Welcome to the block. Your question we will certainly address in hour 2 of the show with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. How soon until fans should hit the panic button on Nebraska baseball? If you haven't hit it yet, I'm a little surprised. But again, we'll save more of that conversation for Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald coming up here in about an hour and 15 minutes or so.
Well, I got to say something real quick about the Mercado. I love the summer sausage. I go in there, they'll cut up the summer sausage. I'll buy some of their nice cheese options in there. And it's cheese and cracker time for me, man. I absolutely love it. I'll go in there and get some of their beef bacon. And the wonderful thing about the Mercado as well, Austin, is they have those already ready-made meals. So if you don't feel like cooking, you don't feel like getting on the stove and slaving over it, you can go in there and grab a nice little meal and then throw it in the microwave or the oven and make it go. So I love a lot about the Mercado as well.
What you been chefing lately? I know Chef Stricky's on that cook and grind. What you been cooking up lately?
Well, I didn't cook today, but I threw some pastas together. I threw a nice little scrambler together yesterday. And usually, if I cook, it's usually a multiple deal. And so, what I like to do is, if I cook a large meal, I like to try to mix it up so it doesn't seem like it's the same meal. So I'll do something different with the leftovers, so to speak.
I guess, but what have you been cooking? I know you didn't cook now. It's been pasta. It's been rice.
Some pasta. I threw I did a nice little black bean taco. Obviously, the Tipsy Tina's came through on yesterday and put it together. Then I've really been eating well, so I threw some couscous together with just some. I went and got some meat, and I just fixed the meat, and then so I ate the meat. Also, just filleted up. Well, not filleted, but opened up some avocados and put a little spice on it. Just so I'm trying to get my summer sexy on. You know what I'm saying?
That summer sausage sexy on from the Mercado.
Yeah, hit the gym. I'm still sore a little bit, but I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
You're going to make it as a DJ in another life. That's what's going to happen.
DJ Stricky was in effect yesterday. If you missed it, gotcha.
Go get it. Go find it. We are everywhere you get your podcast. You can also go back and watch any of our episodes, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. They keep them. They archive them. You can go back and check on DJ Stricky. Make sure you're down with the beat that the DJ Stricky was laying down. What you got?
One other thing. I went this morning and had the privilege to sit down with Chuck Johnston. Stay tuned on that. You can go and check that through Herdat, as well as just that podcast. We just sat around and talked. It's a Legends podcast. Obviously, Chuck Johnson, he's also runs the Nebraska Hall of Fame, which is right down the road in the Haymarket, not too far from the baseball stadium. Mm-hmm. And had a really good talk, man. It's pretty fun especially when people have been around and they've had the privilege and the opportunity to be able to see you do your thing in the time that you did it. And as time passes by, people sometimes can forget. And it was fun to just sit down and hear some of the stories that him and some of the writers and the Kent Pavelka types and all of those guys and the things that they've shared over that time. So I got a chance to do that. I'll let you guys know sometime in the coming week when that's going to air, so you guys can go check that out. It was pretty cool interview.
Follow the man at Eastrick20 on Twitter. I'm sure it'll get posted there. Eastrick2020 on Instagram. Is that correct?
Eastrick2020 on Instagram. Yep. Oh, and then Eastrick 20 media as well. I use that mostly just for media stuff, stuff that we do, especially here, as well as WTF, which is going to still go down on Thursday. Come on and check that out, 6 to 7 on Thursday as well, you guys, because we're going to have Cluster Johnson Jr. joining us as well, so we can talk crap. We have to have all the boys on because they'll get jealous if we don't have all of them. So we've had Cade, we've had Keegan, and CJ's like, yo, man, what's going on? How you gonna have all the other boys? I'm the namesake. I got your name, and you don't even want to have me on. But so yeah, we're gonna have CJ Cluster Johnson Jr. join us on Thursday just to talk a little bit. We'll have some fun.
Well, Stricky, I don't mean any offense by this, but I will not be listening to WTF because I will be pre-gaming Duke basketball that night. So
of course you will.
Nothing personal. I'll go back and check the podcast version, but I will not be listening live. The Blue Devils need me. So lots to get to on today's show. Plenty of Husker football coming your way. Of course, we will talk some Husker baseball, like I said, with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. That'll be at 4:30. Stricky, I'm going to go this route. This happened yesterday. Andrew Luck. Yes, that Andrew Luck, former Colts quarterback, number 1 overall draft pick of the Indianapolis Colts, is now the general manager for Stanford football. He took over the winter, and that's, I think, just a pretty cool move in general. That's an alum who spent his time there in Palo Alto. Certainly an acute mind, right? A smart guy by all accounts. Well, he made his first major move as general manager, and that was firing head football coach Troy Taylor. Now, this wasn't just out of the blue necessarily. There was a second investigation opened up into Troy Taylor and his behavior, specifically regarding female staffers, some bullying, some inappropriate comments being made. But it's still just wild to see that when you get a statement from Stanford football about their head coach being let go, right at the start of spring practice, pretty much across the country, that it's not coming from, athletic director Bernard Muir, or it's not coming from, Condi Rice, who's been involved at Stanford in a lot of ways. It's coming from Andrew Luck as general manager. That's just a bit of a weird concept to me still. I'm not saying Stanford is wrong for having Andrew Luck there. I think he's going to ultimately be pretty good in the role. But it's just wild to look up on March 25th and see that Andrew Luck is a general manager and making moves like as the boss of a football program.
Well, one of the things that we talked about, Austin, is when this first came about, that we were starting to hear about the implementation of general managers. Some of the things that we talked about is, what is that going to look like? Because when you go and look at roles, you go and look at businesses, you can go down the listing of all the titles and everything of that nature, and you come up with COOs, CSOs. You got all these different C-suite names, and then you get down to the executive vice presidents and all. You go there, and each of them have kind of a layout of what the role is going to be. we were a little unsure on what those roles were going to be, right? And when we look at it even now, when we look on the basketball, we look on the football, we didn't know if it was going to look similar to the NFL or what it was going to look like. And so it seems that some teams are starting to give those roles different titles. Is it under the football coach, or is it over the program? What's the role? And it looks as if that, Stanford is looking at it from a professional standpoint. And what I like about that is a couple of things. One, I think it prepares you for upward mobility as far as being able to move into the professional ranks. Doesn't matter if it's the NFL, it could be the CFL, it could be not XFL, but the UFL. It could be the UFL. It positions you, depending if you have a role like that, if you're going to be over the actual program, and I think that's pretty cool because it allows the athletic directors to be the CEOs, and it allows you to kind of be the COO and the implementation of the vision for the program, working coincidentally, being a liaison between the top management. And that's pretty cool. So it looks like that's kind of the direction that they're going. But what I like about it is it's putting a voice, and it's adding a voice with a connection to the program. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the things that I like about it, because they're, if the program can have confidence in whoever it is that's speaking, not only on their behalf, but on behalf of the program, it's always going to be trying to make sure that the program is positioned in favorable light around the community, the country, or wherever.
I think you're onto something too, because it is Andrew Luck. It's an alum who's been back and forth to Stanford and Indianapolis and all sorts of places. Kind of like his dad, Oliver Luck, right? Who's been an athletic director all over the country. Who's been, in a leadership role all over the country. I mean, I think Andrew Luck is pretty well cut out for it. But Strick, we are seeing that difference in approach, right? From university to university, right? Because Stanford is doing it, like you said, the professional model, where there's an overseer for the head coach. It's still a little weird to me to have it set up like that, because in my head, in the traditional sort of model of college athletics, Strick, it's the athletic director that serves as the quote unquote general manager, as in manager of the head coach in the organization, right? That should be, in traditional college athletics, the AD's job to monitor the health of the programs. And it's a big job. There's a lot of programs, especially at a place like Stanford, always competing for the Director's Cup or whatever. Lots of fantastic Olympic sports programs as well, to where football's kind of become an afterthought, which is kind of crazy at Stanford. Just hasn't been good really since a couple years into the David Shaw tenure. But even above, let's say it goes head football coach, general manager, athletic director, board of regents, or probably chancellor president, and then board of regents at the very top. That is so many different levels of control, different from the professional model, where it's head coach, general manager, president/owner. There are 3 levels. Sometimes there's 4, 5, 6 different levels of control, depending on how granular you get these general managers and their job responsibilities. I still think that maybe Andrew Luck, like, his title is general manager, but I think he's just over football. So then isn't he more of what we would traditionally think of as an assistant athletic director for football? Why does he need the title general manager? Because I just think that's a confusing term. But that's where I want to turn our attention to our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Old Dad 34. Do you guys think that Pat Stewart has that much control at Nebraska? No. Very clearly, Pat Stewart does not have that much control at Nebraska, which is where some of this gets a little convoluted and confusing, because at Nebraska, it's Board of Regents, Chancellor, Athletic Director, Troy Dannon. Then it's Matt Rule, direct report. There's not an assistant, AD just for football. And then Pat Stewart is part of Matt Rule's staff at Nebraska. Pat Stewart is not going to be hiring or firing, coaches. That's not really going to be his role. Pat Stewart is more on the roster management, NIL management, that sort of thing, which still to me just feels a lot like a director of player development or like director of operations kind of hybrid role. I don't know that Nebraska is wrong for putting Pat Stewart below Matt Rule necessarily, Strick, but this is where I wish that as an industry, college football had come up with a better sense of what it wanted these positions to be called and what they do. It's going to vary organization to organization, but when you hear terms like general manager thrown out there for both Andrew Luck at Stanford and for Pat Stewart at Nebraska,
doesn't carry the same weight.
Thing.
Yeah, it doesn't carry the same weight. Yeah. No. I was just agreeing with you. I was just saying it doesn't carry the same weight. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was the end of my point. Like, we need to, I wish that, not that I want more NCAA oversight or regulation at all, right? But that's, again, I think just for fans on the outside looking in, it's just another level of confusion. Who's actually in charge? Who's actually, calling the shots here? And even Matt Rule said yesterday, he's not sure what the rules are around NIL, what he can do, what he can't do, around the revenue sharing, around the roster and everything. This, Strick, again, just looking at this little difference, same title, different job responsibilities, a little bit of that is natural, but this is just another example of where I think that the NCAA and college football have kind of jumped the shark a little bit, and you don't exactly know what's going on. This contributes to that feeling of wild, wild west in college football right now.
Well, I'll go a little bit further, and I think it depends on how you look at it, right? Yeah, I think if you're the athletic director, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If it's also depending on what you're trying to cover, meaning how do you want to buffer yourself? Like you may be able to shift that blame somewhere else if it ever comes down, right? Right now, the programs, as you said, is not like it used to be. So it's a good way for an athletic director to kind of buffer themselves. It'll be a lot harder to fire Andrew Luck as it is to fire me as the GM. So, it could have been a smart move on behalf of the athletic director. I don't know, because I was surprised by the, I don't know who that athletic director is, but, so not to leave him out as far as by name. But I will say that it just depends on how you look at it, right? What perspective you're taking that into account.
Because every program needs something a little bit different, right? Some programs need more help with roster management, which is where the general manager might lean more into, director of player personnel sort of stuff. Maybe this is a program that needs help with the financials, right? How do we make the money work? I don't know. I don't have a business sense. So then maybe you need a more business-minded person. Or maybe, Strick, you just need someone who's there for the head coach, right? Someone that they can help him out, just help cover the bases, kind of chief of staff-ish, which Nebraska has in Susan Elza, obviously, who plays that role. Obviously, now the general manager and Pat Stewart, director of personnel, player personnel, whatever it is you want to call it. Nebraska has a lot of these roles filled, and every organization needs something just a little bit different. But I'm curious to see in the next 5 or 10 years if some of this homogenizes and we know more of a consistent sort of structure, whether it's conference by conference or, Division I versus FCS or FBS versus FCS versus Division II versus Division III, whatever it is. I don't know if it's necessary for fans to know, but Strick, I think now more than ever, fans are more informed than ever. They have more avenues to information. So they're going to keep hearing this terminology thrown out here. They might know more on the surface, but they'll know a lot less in depth because there's just so much more information being thrown at them. It's going to be even harder for them to parse through some stuff that, on the one hand, isn't really their business. Because I think there's so many fans, Strick, that, like we've been saying, just care about winning. They don't care about what it looks like behind the scenes. They don't need to know. But for every one of those fans, there's probably a fan that says, well, that's a public institution. We need to know what's going on behind closed doors. We need to know what the job title is, what the role is. Or, a fan that wants to play general manager themselves, armchair quarterback, kind of like I'm prone to do at times, right? Well, if I was in this position as head coach or this position as general manager, the public doesn't need to know, but the public kind of needs to know.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's perspective. It depends on, and then it's going to depend on what the people actually say, what type of pressures that they put out there. If no one's really making noise about it, then it's going to be what it's going to be. It just depends. And so, I mean, your point is taken, though. I mean, it's true. There's definitely going to be some other. There's no different. There's going to be some people that look into it. It's no different than being what do they call it? Sunday or Monday morning quarterbacks, or there's a lot of that going on. People that play Madden that think that they're better at putting and constructing a team is going to be that. So it just depends.
Let's hit this from the text line before we go to break. Brad says a lot of people involved for a very mediocre football team, and that's certainly been the results over the last 8 to 10 years or so. Strick, when you look at Nebraska football, is it a place where you think there might be too many cooks in the kitchen, too many competing visions and voices, and too many hands on the product? Or is Nebraska football a big enough, important enough operation that it needs to continue to throw bodies at the problem and make sure that everything gets covered?
Well, let me say it like this. It all depends, right? As you said, speaking of Matt Rule, there are some things he doesn't know. And to try with the quick shifts of how the whole landscape has changed, to try to get on top of that, on top of trying to make sure that you put out a winning product, on top of trying to make sure you're going to see the ones that can make changes in the program and meet their families, people coming on campus, all of that stuff that you're supposed to do. Now, some will say, well, dang it, doggone it, they're paid well. I've heard that. They say that about NBA. My gosh, how do they 65 games? And there's a lot of those things, and that's true. But if you're on the inside and you're a Matt Rule type, if you don't know what you don't know, you want to empower and put people in position to be able to do that. So it's, in essence, it depends on where you're at. It's going to create an opportunity for you to solve a problem. If you're a person that's very well versed in that, in all of the intel that go with football and the back end and how to work it, if you managed it and put that stuff together in your previous life or in your past, or if you're connected or you can learn quickly, then you put yourself in position to be of help. Because I'm the same person. My dad used to say to me, he said, you should come out here and work on this car. And he said this one thing to me. He said, I hope you make a lot of money, son, because you don't seem to really care about this stuff. My dad can go and put all kinds of light fixtures up and fix electrical stuff. And I watch and I observe, but it just wasn't my thing. You see what I'm saying? And that's okay. It's not everybody's thing. And when it's not, you got to be able to find the best of what you can to make sure that they fit in a position to make sure that you're successful. If you don't do that well, I looked at Jason Kidd, for example. Jason Kidd, when he first started coaching up in Milwaukee, didn't once touch the clipboard, but he grew, he learned, he acquired, he put the right people around him, ex-former head coaches, so that, they can put the stuff together, maybe put the practices together. He was just the lead operator and the voice of it all, and making sure things went as they were supposed to go. But in the meantime, you put people in position and in places that you have a weakness in.
Mm-hmm. We have this from Aaron. Rule's not just adding staff to add staff. He knows how to manage it. He needs to. It is a big operation. There are a lot of people on the sidelines for Nebraska games. But Strick, this is again where, does Matt Rule know what he got himself back into? He's learning on the job, as are all coaches, right, in these kind of turbulent times in college football. But anymore, I'm curious how much actual on-field instruction there is for a head football coach. At this point, the head coach almost feels more like a general manager, right? It's an overseer. It's a manager more so than someone actually with their hand in the dirt and the nitty-gritty details of football. We know Matt Rule cares about his players. We know that he wants to be a visionary, and there's always going to be some of that involved. But I'm starting to get a sense that Matt Rule misses the actual coaching football part of his job. So he wants to hire more and more people to take some of this stuff behind the scenes, not completely off his plate, because he's ultimately responsible for it. It's his program. He's the one hired to be head coach. That's still the role that he's in. But at the same time, I think that Matt Rule wants a lot of people around him that he trusts so he can get back on the field, so he can blow that whistle a little bit more, so he can dive into technique and alignment and all that good stuff. I just don't know how much of that Matt Rule is doing at practice right now, how much he will be able to do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't care how many people Matt Rule has on his staff to take that stuff off of his plate if he feels that's necessary. But when you look at the vision for Nebraska football, what is it going to take to build a consistent winner again? I think really only two people need to be in that meeting. That's Matt Rule and Troy Dannon. You need a lot of cooks in the kitchen for Nebraska football, even with fewer people on the roster. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to manage in college football. So sure, go get some people. But not everyone in that organization, not everyone even on that coaching staff necessarily needs to have these big picture discussions all the time. To me, the big picture needs to be Matt Rule and Troy Dannon. And whatever Matt Rule brings to staff meetings, that's what the assistant coaches are responsible for executing. You with it?
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If you're good, I'm good.
Good.
Let's take our first break of the show. We'll hear from Matt Rule, what he had to say at his press conference yesterday. We'll discuss some of that and more as we move ahead during On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Love is in the air, and so are big savings. It's the Big I Do event at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions, April 4th through the 6th. For 3 days only, enjoy 20% off all engagement rings and wedding bands, plus exclusive bridal collections from our top designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We are back here on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. Let's jump into some stuff that Matt Rule had to say at his pre-spring availability. Well, I guess second day of spring availability yesterday. We mentioned this. We're not going to play the whole clip because it's about 3 minutes long. But let's start with Matt Rule when he says he feels like a third party and he doesn't know the rules. I thought this was interesting. Let's hear from the head coach.
I still don't know what the rules are, the parameters around the rev share. So, you know, if you're a coach who doesn't care about saying something and then having to go back on it, it's really a great time. You can promise someone $700,000 and then, you know, pay them $50 and say, if you were like, man, I really don't want to say something I can't follow up on. It's a hard time to make a lot of promises when you don't know, you know, is third party NIL really going to be gone? Is it going to be around? Is rev share going to happen? You know, so I just think it's a time of great uncertainty, but also looks like there might be some certainty. I think I've never felt more like third party NIL might be limited than I do now. I've always kind of like, I don't know about that. I think there's a chance of it happening. So I'm preparing for that. You know, whereas before it was like offer, take, recruit. Now it's what's the value, you know, like how much you want to pay for this and this player and this position. And so, you know, but there's so many unknowns. So I think it limits maybe like, hey, you know, how many players are you going to take? You know, the 105, how that all plays out is going to be interesting too. So we are, I think, probably just being very measured right now, trying to figure out, you know, how exactly this goes. And with the knowledge of, you know, most kids, you know, commit after the, you know, June visits. Even if they've committed now, some kids commit and then they're still going to take 5 visits. I mean, it's just a different world. So
let's stop it there, Strick. I think there's a lot to dive into just from about the first half of that quote from Matt Rule. Number one is he says they're taking a pretty measured approach when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to NIL as well. And I think you can take that one of two ways. Number one, okay, good on Nebraska for you know, sitting back, waiting, seeing what the landscape is going to be. I think you can hear a little bit of frustration and resignation from Matt Rule where he doesn't really care as much what the rule is. He just wants to know what the rules are so he can go out and you know, recruit to them and play by them. But I do think there's a little bit of that quote that stood out to me too, Strick. Should fans want a Nebraska that's sitting back and waiting, right? We've talked on this show and others about the need for Nebraska to be an innovator. Are you okay with Nebraska sitting out and trying to wait and get some clarity on the rules before it does anything? Or in this period of upheaval, would you rather Nebraska go a little bit harder, try to push the boundaries and have to be reined back in when whatever the settlement is comes down?
Well, Nebraska in its past has usually been an innovator. They've been people to be first to the marketplace or first with innovative styles, or, you know, they were always first with facilities. And just there were a lot of things that a lot of programs in the past used to look to Nebraska in leadership for, right? And again, that word, I don't have to tell you, you guys have heard it from me plenty of times. It seems as if Nebraska got very complacent with who they are, what they are, and they're cool with that. And they stopped stepping out and being on the edge or the cutting edge and doing things like that. I think while you don't know, you can't be found at fault for. It's nothing that has been established. Get out there and get ahead of it. What do you really want to do? What do you really want the program to be? Are you cool with it being the way that it is and it being mediocre? Or are you really trying to make a mark, for yourself? Do you want to be like the Notre Dames, and do you want to be like the Penn States and Michigans and Ohio States? Or are you cool with where you sit in the Big Ten, or do you want to rise up to the top? So it just depends, and it'll tell you a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have to go over and above at some point if you want to get up there. If you don't, cool. If you're cool with the slow migration of how you're moving in the space of sports, stick there. Then I think people are fed up, but there's so much love that there's a counterbalance, so to speak, of just a lot of the frustration that people really have. And there are people that are frustrated, but I think sometimes there's a counterbalance that even with frustration, there's still a love of wanting to see. And we see that on the professional level with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, back in the 90s, they haven't done anything, you know what I'm saying? And they tried to do another move where they acquire great talent, hold on to them, kick the can down the road, and then you end up paying a bigger price. Sometimes it's better to pay the price and then allow the changes and the things to catch up with you, but you're already ahead of it, so you're not really feeling the brunt of the payment that you've put out there. So
let's jump off on that word frustration, Strick. I think that's a pretty applicable word for this Nebraska fan base. That, they made a bowl game. Yeah, they won it last year to finish 7-6. But one Pinstripe Bowl appearance and, one Foster Farms Bowl appearance, one, Music City Bowl appearance in the last decade. That's not good enough. I think 3 out of 10 isn't good enough. Husker fans would tell you that. We've heard that on this very text line as well. But frustration can do one of two things. It can motivate you to get it right. It can light a fire underneath you and say, whatever it takes, I don't like feeling this way, so I got to go a different direction. I got to find something that works. Or frustration can make you overreact emotionally, get too fired up, throw a hissy fit, and nothing gets accomplished. Or it can shut you down. You don't do anything about it. Well, I'm frustrated. I give up. I'm taking my ball, and I'm going home. Clearly, Nebraska football is not in a position where anyone in the state is going to allow it to, fold up shop, take its ball, go home and say, nope, we're just going to sit this out. That would be a bad look. I don't think Matt Rule is the type of coach to sit there and throw a hissy fit. I really don't. I think Matt Rule's a worker, right? He's a talker. He'll spin a good message, but I do think that his core, Matt Rule wants to work and get Nebraska football improved back on the right track. So then it becomes, how much is Nebraska using the frustration of the day, of the decade, really, and finding ways to get better, versus how much is Nebraska frustrated about the frustration and trying to get caught up in some of these details instead of taking that step back and remembering that at the end of the day, what matters is football. The better you coach and the better you play, you got to handle business off the field. But I hope that any frustration that the Matt Rule, his assistants, his players feel is coming out here early in spring practice in the form of focus, effort, and intensity, more so than, I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's what you hope. You hope that there's a laser focus on the goal, and not just getting back, but how can we come back leaps and bounds better than what anybody would expect or think, right? You see so many stories and so many teams. How come you can't be the story? You're already a storied franchise. How come you can't be the new story of a resurgence and a reemergence of greatness that Nebraska football used to be? And then you can tell those stories in a magnificent way. You see, like, I think Netflix has came out with a documentary. What better way to, add on to the story than to take leaps and bounds in the program. So that's the way I see it.
There's a lot there. Let's go to the text line here for a couple things. Tad says, is there a way to listen to previous Takedown Tuesday episodes? Yes, wherever you get your podcast. There was no episode yesterday. Strick and I spent on the block talking a lot of Husker basketball, a lot of big picture stuff with that program. Fred Hoiberg spoke today as well with Nebraska taking off for the Crown. DP was headed out. Wrestling had some other commitments as well. So no Takedown Tuesday yesterday. You got me and Strick for a couple hours. I thought yesterday was a great conversation, Strick. I think there's a lot in there that I hope Nebraska listens to, and I hope we're right and they take our advice. But kind of on that, I think it's a good transition to some breaking news here. Again, just the reality of the day and the age. Markel Sutton, the Summit League Player of the Year from Omaha, has officially entered his name in the transfer portal, as has starting guard J.J. White. But, Strike, it sounds like there are reports that Chris Crutchfield is working on a raise and an extension with Omaha. I mean, a heck of a season for the Mavs. But, again, here's the challenge, right? Don't write Coach Crutchfield off, but he's got a tough job finding guys that fit the level, finding those under-the-radar gems. It's not unexpected that the Summit League Player of the Year and another starter from a tournament team would leave after getting this many eyeballs on him. It's unfortunate. I think I have some faith in Coach Crutchfield to build the team back up for next year. I just hope that doesn't get to be too much for him, and I hope that the Omaha and basketball fans are patient with him, because it's not an easy process.
No, it's not. And in actuality, with the changes that are going on, especially in college basketball, I actually think that programs and coaches like them will do very well at lower entry level jobs into the Power Four programs, because they already understand all that it entails. They understand the work that is needed and necessary to put it together. They'll just have more money, so they'll have more money to do something good with what they're doing. They figured it out. They had to figure it out, and they had to figure it out, get ahead of it with understanding. I even think they did so even before Power Four schools, because they understood that with these changes, they're not going to be able to hold these guys, but we can get the maximum, the Deadpool effort out of them, the maximum effort. And then we can turn that into great opportunities, but it doesn't stop the work. They understand what the work is. They understand the grind. And it's one of the things I would say, Austin, that helped me to become even who I am. I've got to be honest, going to play for the Florida Marlins in rookie ball and in the minor leagues, it helped me to embrace the grind. So the grind of what it all took to get to the NBA and to stay there, it helped me and it didn't hinder me. And because I saw a lot of guys that came after me, that came around the time I came, that were drafted before me, that fizzled out. And sometimes when you're so used to your name being called and being in the forefront of all the discussions, that you don't have the same worth ethic that it entails. I think Crutch does. I think he understands that and what it takes.
We're rooting for him from down here in Lincoln. I know you're up in Omaha rooting for him as well. Best of luck to Markel Sutton and J.J. White, wherever they end up. And we'll certainly be monitoring Coach Crutch and the Mavs as they try to build back and repeat on their performance next season. Stricky, we'll let you go. Jay Foreman in the building. He's playing the shootout, so you're good. You got yours done out of the way yesterday. Safe travels. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
All right, see y'all.
Strick with Strick, a.k.a. the fire away against Foreman, comes your way here in just a moment. Call now, 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Take down Jay and trivia for your chance at $30 and wings and rings to wrap up hour one of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a few sprinkles possible, otherwise partly sunny with a light breeze, and a high around 70. Tonight, a chance of showers late, otherwise partly cloudy with a low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny and warm with a high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green.
Early break.
All I can still picture is him talking to Bill Murray's son. And that was one of my, I could just see him. Hey, listen, your dad was awesome in stripes, but you need to shuddy. You need to shuddy.
Shut your mouth,
Shuddy.
Mr. Murray.
Yes, if that, your dad was incredible. And what about Bob? Just stop.
I've never heard Shuddy before.
Hey,
I love
Hey,
Groundhog.
Shuddy.
I'm going with that now forever. I love
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
It's the Shootout with Strick, or more aptly today, the Fire Away with Foreman. Let's bring him in. Husker Hall of Famer, linebacker, NFL veteran, Jay Foreman. Jay, welcome in. Good to see you.
What up?
Stricky was rusty yesterday, and it showed. How are you feeling today?
He was rusty?
Stricky said he was rusty, and he played like it yesterday.
Oh, for the shootout?
For the shootout.
Did he lose?
He did lose. In a tiebreaker, but he still lost.
L is a L. I got blasted last time I did this. I mean,
You did.
I got blasted.
You get redemption today.
I
A
hope
shot
so.
at it.
I mean, you at the bottom, man. So, or I'm at the bottom. I got to figure out how to just have a little bit of credibility. I just got blasted.
Just get back on the board.
Yeah,
Get back on the board.
Yeah, I got to get. Then let it steamroll. Maybe I was a little too cocky.
Maybe. Walking in with humility today. We like that.
Yeah, no choice.
Let's go to our Honda of Lincoln hotline. Let's welcome in Ryan. Ryan, how are you today?
Doing good.
Glad to hear it. We'll give Jay his 4 questions first, then we'll get to you. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Bring it on, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are doing Major League Baseball opening day starting pitchers.
Oh, hell.
Jay's round
All right.
starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He's the opening day starter for the Phillies. Aaron Nola or Zach Wheeler?
Zach Wheeler.
Yep, he's the opening day starter for the Astros. Framber Valdez or Justin Verlander?
Over the first one.
Valdez, yes. Yeah. He's the opening day starter for the Braves. Chris Sale or Spencer Strider?
Oh, man. That's tough because I know that Chris Sale is I'm going to go Spencer.
It is Chris Sale.
Damn.
And he's the opening day starter for the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, I don't know. I should know this.
They're on our station.
I know. That's horrible. I have no idea. And Strick ain't even here.
He ain't. He
Where
did
is
shit.
it? And Harrison in there, too. His big old head. He ain't helping.
The answer is Cole Reagans. Cole Reagans, second straight opening day start for your Kansas City Royals.
His name's what?
Cole Reagans.
Man.
Get to know the name.
All I know is the third baseman.
Who's the third baseman?
I forget, man. He was one of my favorite players. Loves him.
Oh, no, we lost Ryan.
That's
Ryan
a
hung
W.
up on you.
That's a W.
Oh,
2
we
or
need
4
another
W.
caller real quick.
You
We
better call
can't.
back.
Not like this. Not like this. Ryan, if you're listening, call back. You got disconnected.
I bet you Ryan hit the button with his cheek. He sounded like he had it up to his ear.
Maybe Ryan got caught at work or something.
Yeah,
On the phone trying to win $30 at
the
Buffalo
man-
Wings and Rings, and the
manager
man
came
walks
by.
in. Someone please call 402-464-5685.
Where's Dave from Renew?
Dave. Okay,
Dave
there's
from
a challenge.
Yeah, you always talk about you want your steak, trying to get me to go out on a Friday.
You're not about going out on Fridays?
I think I got basketball.
Convenient.
Maybe. Yeah.
What is that contingent on?
I don't know.
If
I
your
gotta
team
get
shows
this.
up?
I gotta get this over with, man. I just am gonna tell you, man. I just cannot believe I got bamboozled into. First of all, it's all James Franklin's fault. I'm never picking Penn State. I would never believe in James Franklin. I'd like James Franklin as a coach. I would never believe in Penn State and them taking the next step. Every single time they've let me down.
And you keep falling for it. You know what? I'm right there with you.
Because I've been watching. I watched it, and I don't really.
They look good. They play some good football.
I was like, this is the year. They got the little it factor. Quarterback was garbage.
Yep.
But I think James Franklin is a good or a great coach or whatever. I just think he's always let me down.
Final call, 402-464-5685. We need a competitor. Jay got 2 right. You would need 2 to tie, 3 or more to win. Major League Baseball's opening day starters, 402-464-5685.
Hey, can I tell you why I picked that Wheeler dude?
Why'd you pick Wheeler?
Because one of my favorite movies is Days of Thunder, and the other dude his name is Rusty Wheeler.
Aha.
So that's why I picked it.
I like it. All right, let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Caller, what's your name?
James.
James, thanks for calling in. Are you ready for your round of the shootout here?
I'll give it a shot.
Excellent. You are down 2-0 right now. 3 to tie, or 3 to win. 2 or more. We'll get it done for you. All right, James, your round of the shootout starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He's the opening day starter for the New York Mets. Clay Holmes or Sean Manaea?
Oh, Holmes.
It is Holmes. He's the opening day starter for the Detroit Tigers. Jackson Jobe or Tarek Skubal?
Skubal.
Yep, he's the opening day starter for the Giants. Blake Snell or Logan Webb?
Snell.
It is Webb, and he's the opening day starter for the New York Yankees.
Oh.
Opening day starter for the New York Yankees.
Well, I think he's injured, but I'm blanking on anybody else. Garrett Cole. I know he's injured.
It was slated to be Garrett Cole, but not anymore. The answer is Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon will get the ball for the Yankees in Game 1, not off-season signing Max Fried. All right, it's 2-2. We're headed to the tiebreaker.
Oh, really?
We're headed to the tiebreaker.
He came out strong, though.
He did. Blake Snell is now a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, by the way. He signed with them in the offseason. James, I will give Jay the question. He will give a number. You will go over, under, or push Jay's answer. Sound like a plan?
Okay. Yep. Great.
Okay. Jay, here's the question. Hall of Famer Tom Seaver holds the Major League Baseball record for the most starts on opening day. How many times was Tom Seaver his team's opening day starting pitcher?
16.
Jay says 16. James, over, under, or push for the win?
Great guess. I actually, in my head, said 17, so I'll just stick with my gut and go over.
Jay nailed it. 16 times.
Jeez,
16.
Good job, Jay.
Hey, man, that was a great guess. I like even numbers, man. That's it. I know he was really good.
He was.
Yeah, he was the Mets, right?
11 with the Mets, 3 with the Reds, and 2 with the White Sox. So, James, a valiant effort. Thanks for calling in on short notice. Try again soon.
Yep, great. Thanks, guys.
We're back to normalcy.
You're back, Jay. A little bit of humility went a long way for you, my friend.
Shooters shoot and winners win. I know, because I was winning too much. I was like, this is easy. I can't believe Strick. Then I just got blasted. I mean, it was embarrassing. Because I got all Stricks wrong, too.
You did. That was not great.
Yeah, it was like, Doug, we're gonna beat you down. We're gonna make sure that you don't feel good about your skills.
But you know what? You're feeling good now.
Yeah,
that's what matters. So he's Jay. I'm Austin. This is On the Block. Another hour of the show to come at 4:30. We'll talk some Husker baseball and spring football with Evan Bland. We're hopping back into Husker spring football with Jay on the other side.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Love is in the air, and so are big savings. It's the Big I Do event at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions, April 4th through the 6th. For 3 days only, enjoy 20% off all engagement rings and wedding bands, plus exclusive bridal collections from our top designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a few sprinkles possible, otherwise partly sunny with a light breeze, and a high around 70. Tonight, a chance of showers late, otherwise partly cloudy with a low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny and warm with a high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska, and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in hour 2 of On the Block on a beautiful Wednesday. Happy hump day, y'all. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman are with you here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Brought to you by the Mercado, where they have what, Jay?
Certified Piedmontese and special ingredients and butcher shop.
Most
84th and Havilah.
Most types of meats?
All types.
Most cuts?
Yeah, all the cuts, all the meats. They even got pasta in there too.
Woo!
They got a few little spices. You know, I got to bring over some of my spices up there. You know,
Do you make your own spice rub?
I do when I do ribs.
I will not ask you to divulge it, but I'm not surprised
I can't.
you make
But
it.
also,
I would not ask you to.
I think we got a little family issue because I just realized D. Chuck Foreman is part owner in the spice company up there. I got a care package at my door.
Okay.
Now I got to tell you this. I called him. Now I kind of was. You know, my dad doesn't. I think people sometimes get all confused about like social media. Like my dad doesn't run his social media.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very rarely on it or anything like that. And a lot of times you could just create this smoke screen of social media. So I kept seeing it, you know, with Ben, you know, who's who helps my dad out with his like appearance stuff and you know and stuff, and start seeing these spices and stuff. And I was like, you know, you see it like, dang, that looked kind of hidden, you know. And
but I don't know who it came from or where it came from,
or
so
where
I'm
the
gonna hold
company
off.
started. And then so my dad, I thought like, oh well, he was at like a home and garden show that we seen, and then people were just paying him to take pictures with it. Well, then I started seeing it all the time, and then you know, and me and my dad FaceTime, and he's like, yeah, I'm about to throw some steaks on the grill. And I saw a couple of the boss, hey man, you know what's all with these spices? Oh yeah, man, this is my spice company, right? And so he's like, man, he's like, you know what? I'm going over to the office. I'm gonna have him send you a care package. So he sent me a care package or like some spices. And and the thing is, this is what's funny. So he actually did it when we just got off the phone. So on it was a personalized note. Or let me read this. Right? This just tells you how my dad is. So he finally sent me the spices. They're called tailgate spices, and he says, you know, their slogan is fans approve. He's like, don't say I ain't ever give you anything. Love you, Dad. But it's on the box.
That's too good.
Yeah, man. That's it. My dad is never gonna miss a chance to talk some junk.
So that's where you get it from.
I don't talk that much junk. Only when I'm playing.
That production room would beg to differ.
Only when I'm being competitive.
Jay, you don't have that off switch. You're always competitive. That's what got you to the league. It's what kept you in the league. You've said that.
Yeah, there is no off switch if you
That's
want
what
to
I'm
try to be good.
So again, let's play this out. You don't talk unless you're competitive. You're always competitive. You always talk junk.
Yeah, but I don't talk a lot anyways. Only.
But a very high junk to word ratio.
This depend if it's Nick. Yes.
Apparently, I'm caught up in this too, which I do not understand.
You're guilty by association. Both of you guys have got brand new 2025. I
haven't even left yet.
Don't matter. You guys, you up the profile. We gotta get this thing back in line.
Well, let's get it back in line. Let's talk some Husker football here. A topic that's been on my mind a little bit here, Jay. 2025 Husker football opening spring practice. Obviously, when you look at the Huskers, obviously we'll need to know what the roster looks like at some point. Will this team be led by the offense or by the defense?
Man, that's a good question. It's almost like who's going to be leading between if I'm a captain at the Husker game. You know, I'm
almost
win.
like
I'm not. Listen. I listen. Now, before I get to that, I can't move anymore. It's a hard thing for me to to really, really come to terms with. My body is broke down.
Not just not able to move like you used to, but
no,
just the struggle to move.
Yeah, and I remember when Jake Sorensen felt so froggy that he said he could beat me in a 40. Now, I don't think that I would let him beat me. I think I would have enough
pride
and not just I would annihilate him in the 40.
You may not be as good as you once were, but you're as good once as you ever were, sort of thing.
I'd beat him by 3, 4, 5 steps. But I saw the video of that older jump. Did I send you that where the dude was running the 40? and he got out the block.
Yeah.
And then he blew a tire. And he blew a tire. Yeah, see, that can't happen to me.
No.
That can't happen in front of hopefully 60, 70.
See, that happened to Tyleek Williams today.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That's too bad, man.
Yeah. So, now back to your question. I guess just by, subtraction and addition, I'd say the offense is going to lead the team. Just because of you got your quarterback back, which is essentially the biggest part of your team. I think you got some key pieces coming back on the offensive line, just that have been here before. Obviously, Justin Evans-Jenkins at the center position, Latowski, and then you bring in a couple other guys, and you're going to assume, whoever's going to be at, right guard, right tackle, and all that stuff. Then you bring in some veteran guys that have played and started and played in some big games. So that kind of but gives you some legit answers in the two biggest positions that you need on your team. Then you got Emmett coming back. I think they probably feel good about the guys that are going to be competing to get, gain carries. And then I felt like with the additions on the outside, you're bringing in a ton of leadership. So just that alone, I think, you're doing that because I think it was flipped last year because of the longevity and consistency of Ty, Nash, and all those guys, Gifford and all those guys. But I think it's not so one-sided to where that the defense has got to play second fiddle. I think you have a good mix of guys coming back. I think you're going to have some of the younger guys slowly but surely develop into leaders, and everybody has to learn how to lead their own way and not try to manufacture it themselves. And so the best way to lead is to show up and handle your business all the time, on the clock and off the clock.
I'm glad that's the direction you went, because I do think that you're onto something too. With the departures on the defensive side of the ball, it feels like it's swinging a little back to the offense, right? Where Dylan and Emmett are certainly visible guys publicly. Can they be that in the locker room? I'm not saying they haven't been or they can't be, but I think it's come to that. But also, I think, when it's your time to make a play, go make a play. Handle your business when it's your snap to make a play. For 5 years, 6 years, Adrian Martinez's sophomore year might have been the last time I said I would probably want the offense on the field in a key snap.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been, if there's a key snap, you want the defense out there on the field, right? To get that one stop on 3rd and 2, on a 4th and 1 miracle stop, the goal line against Illinois, against Iowa, whoever it is. For 5-6 years, it's been the defense, and that's fine. There's no issues with that. You need to have a side of the ball that you can lean on. But I think sophomore year with Dylan Raiola, I think that stable of playmakers, it looks like they have at receiver, enough veterans on the offensive line. I don't anticipate a step back from the offensive line. A big step forward, guess we'll see. But if the line can maintain what it did last year with improvements, it just feels to me, Jay, like when I think about leadership, when there's a key snap in a game for Nebraska in 2025, I hope that Dylan Raiola specifically, and by his improvements, he has elevated the offense enough to the point where if there's one play to win the game, you feel like you want the offense to convert on 3rd down, maybe more so than the defense to have to hold on 3rd down. And that's not a knock on the defense. Right. It shouldn't be bad, but there are a lot of new faces. And Jay, I think this is where we need to see Nebraska be right with its offensive coordinator hire, right? That's a high profile guy in Dana Holgorsen that's worked some magic with offenses before. So I think offensive, leadership looks like, hey, you went out and you got, top 2 or 3 quarterback in his class in Dylan Raiola. He had a year. Now it's his time. Okay, step up and prove it. And you have a proven play caller, right? Who should know which button to press at the right time. You've invested so much into the offense, a unit that has a lot of improvement left to make. Defense is fine-tuning. Defense is tweaking. It's making 1 or 2 more plays here or there. Yeah. Offense left a lot of meat on the bone. And I think it's time for the offense to really be that unit that steps up in the biggest moments.
Yeah, it's the biggest jump. You like to go from your first year to your second year playing. You should feel more comfortable. I'm certainly, assume that Dylan feels more comfortable with leading guys, and guys need to, want to obviously lead him or lead with him and follow him. And he needs to be trying to follow suit too. It's got to be a we type of thing. So yeah, sure. On paper, cause you got to think you got Buford coming back. You got Singleton, you got Hartzog. Those guys are kind of at the 3rd level, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to say that, but those guys, that's where your stability is, right? Where you at the whether it's two safeties and let's say Hartzog's like, I guess, a nickel. Then you got corner positions, and all that. And then
I really like Hartzog at nickel, by the way. I really like that vision.
I like him everywhere. I think he's a really good player, and I don't know what they're going to do defensively, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do a variety of things. And then, but you do have some guys that can step in there. I mean, you got the linebacker coming in, I think, from Georgia Southern.
Watson Trent,
which I think, look, just by his productivity, his maturity, and just assuming his playmaking ability, he's going to eventually work himself into some sort of he's the quarterback of the defense, or will be. Then you got Javen Wright, who's a veteran player, and then you got Shavers that's got to step up, and then you just got a lot of options. Everybody's got to make themselves answers, even though you have some more, I guess, flashy and established talent on offense. That doesn't mean it's like turnkey in an assumption. They got to gel. They all have to play better. Yes, Rocco is really good at Notre Dame. Pritchard really good at Alabama, obviously, right? And then obviously we had guys that have played in a more consistent and somewhat of an improved offensive line last year, but they got to gel, right? And then, Dylan's got to gel with them. Then this is the first time. This is the big step for Emmett.
Yeah.
It's a huge step for him. Now, I think with the way, at least from the few games that we saw with Coach, I'll just call him Coach Dana, I think this is from a defensive perspective, so it has nothing to do with what they could be thinking. I think if I was going against this defense and seeing a guy that in Emmett's spot that needs to step up, I think it's easier in this type of offense because, number one, nobody in this day and time just runs the guy 30 times a game.
That was Genty graduated.
Right. I mean, take him out, but that's all they had. Like, we're talking in the big, you got to think Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. Everybody's kind of, by committee, but they're two really good guys. But I think just for me, if I was preparing for this offense, and it's only a short little glimpse into what they could do, is that I think they accentuate Emmett's skill set better, right? Which is like, okay, you're running different plays, you're letting them get in rhythm, but then you're getting them out in space. You can trust him. He's pretty good in pass protection, but everything's in rhythm. Well, at least it had been in rhythm. But anyways, he needs to step up to be the guy. It's just one thing. I've been in a position where you're either like a co-starter, then you're the guy, or you're kind of like the situational player. I went through this plenty of times, or even it's something like as simple as this, right? When I was in Buffalo, it was when Greg came in, so I think it was my fourth year. Primarily I was playing first and second down. I had a couple other guys that they had in at third down. Well, one of them got hurt, so now I'm accumulating more plays, more responsibilities, even though I knew it, but you got to really know it. You got to own it. On top of it, I have to be a special teams type of player. That's a step up in season. And so these guys have a huge off season of, establishing, even though, Emmett's the assumptive starter, right? I mean, it's not like a too far fetch.
If he's not the starter, that'd be one of the most shocking decisions of the offense.
Yeah, but he's got, but
barring
right now he's the lead dog in the house, right? And that's where they expect him to be, but he also has to one, continue to improve in whatever they want him to improve on, and whatever he wants to get better at. Then he's got to establish himself as like the veteran leader in the running back room. So you have to be an extension of, Coach EJ in the sense of there's a standard. You just can't be there to handle your business. You're there to handle everybody's business and kind of oversee it.
And I have fewer worries about that than I do on the field. Emmett's a good player, but I think he has a really good head on his shoulders, right?
Yeah,
Every
I don't
time
think he can't do it, but it's just you got to do it.
I'm more confident in him off the field, right? Because we haven't seen him with a starter workload. I'm not saying he can't handle. I'm not saying he won't be good.
Right.
We are excited. But Jay, I just can't get the nagging thought of like Tony Pollard out of my head, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys let Zeke go. Sometimes it's easier to be, the second hammer than the first hammer.
Like
Again, Emmett's good. I think he's going to be good.
Like Benny Johnson back in the day coming up. Yeah, I understand that. But also that's the great thing about where he's at. He, that's realistic that you could even build up in your head as a player to drive you to be able to answer that call, and then if you do it, then that's way better for the offense. You're always going to have doubters. There's always going to be things that you whether perceived or reality, that you need to get better at. So you just got to go and attack him. And I'm sure he has enough confidence that I can guarantee, and I can't guarantee, but if it was me, I'm thinking like, hey, I did this with a little bit, and you only saw just a glimpse late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till I get a full off season of being the guy, getting the continuity there. Part of being a really good, effective running back is, and also for the offensive line, so you can marry how he runs certain plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to block it certain ways. You get comfortable, and then, you know, with the receivers, you got Dane Key and Hunter and Gilmore, Barney. You got was it Mims, and then
Cortez
Mills,
Mills.
excuse me. And then you got was it Mose, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Isaiah Mosey.
Yeah,
Yep.
from Kansas City. You got some nice veterans, and you kind of like got it stair stacked, right? But you still got to get continuity with not only Dylan but all the receivers, and you got to get the timing down of, like, I always talk about the bang 8 or whatever, like you know, the back shoulder fade or the skinny post or whatever route that you used to run at, you know, whatever school, Kentucky or Cal or whatever it may be. You got to run it like Coach Dana wants in his offense, and it also has to be how Dylan wants in this offense. So as much as that they might be like the lead dog or leader in the house, you know, there's still a lot of improvement in it. But probably more importantly, I guess the best thing is you realistically have some options.
Yeah.
Now, if you were going into a spring ball and you only had a option, that's a lot
If
of
you
pressure.
had just J.D. Spielman or just Wan'Dale Robinson.
Or just, okay, we got one guy that we know that we can kind of trust, and everybody else is like,
one guy we know we can kind of trust.
Right.
Not
right.
one guy we know we can trust.
We've been there before.
Here's our
Now-
guy.
Now
Who can
you
bring along?
have different body types, different skill sets, and a ton of legitimate options.
Complimentary.
Right. And so then now you can go and actually, okay, now you can kind of really formulate some sort of game plan week in and week out, and players can separate themselves. So everybody just got to get a lot better.
We will certainly keep talking plenty of Nebraska spring ball throughout the next handful of weeks. A month away from Husker games, which Jay Form will be a captain for. We'll see if he's participating or not, see if the body gets miraculously healed in a month. But you can join me and Jay tomorrow, March 27th, at the brand new Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane. We're there from 3 to 6 on the block and old school. We'll celebrate MLB opening day, the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16, and of course, talk some Husker spring ball. They've got an impressive menu. They've got steak skewers, the Liquid Gold Smash Burger, the Blue Chip Burger, a stakeholder sandwich, and much, much more. They claim Lincoln's best selection of beers, cocktails, whiskey, and more. Again, you can join us tomorrow, 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Assets, 2755 Jamie Lane. We'll take our first break of hour one. Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joins us, talk Husker baseball and spring ball when we get back.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R. Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Plus, Koppel has over 10,500 off list on other select new models. Our pre-owned truck lot is full of late model low gyms as well. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with a roof credit, 0% is standalone.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through March 30th, enjoy USDA Choice whole beef short loin for $9.99 per pound, cut and wrapped for free. Plus, a 3-day sale from Thursday through Saturday of USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strip steaks, just $7.88 each. Northern Fishery salmon portions, $9.99 per 2-pound box, and a handle of Tito's handmade vodka, just $28.99. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back in to On the Block. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Stricky is working his way out of town, but that's all right. Jay and I can hold down the fort. We're headed to our VIP line brought to you by Aloe Fiber. We welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. 1 week ago, Evan, it was snowing and blizzarding. Now it's, 65 degrees outside. Welcome to Big Ten baseball season, am I right?
You are. Even by Midwest standards, this is a little crazy, but we'll take it today.
We sure will. Husker baseball, let's start there. And I want to start with our text line. We had a text about this, Evan, and I figured I would start with you. You're pretty measured. You're not one to overreact. That's why we appreciate your analysis here on the block. One of our texters asked, how soon until Husker fans need to hit the panic button for the Husker baseball team? Where are you at with just kind of the state of the season right now through 24 games?
Well, yeah, if you're talking about what's on the line this season, what's at stake, you're getting close to the point to where the conversation is going to be about making the Big Ten tournament and winning the Big Ten tournament to get into the regional round. Like, that's just kind of where they're at. You start off with the RPI situation. They're right around 125 at this point. I was actually doing some looking today, and if you go into the month of April as a Big Ten team and you're in triple digits, there's almost no precedent for coming back and being an at-large team. So to me, that's why this weekend is such a big one, and why this week has been a big one for Nebraska is to try to boost that RPI to at least where you can get into the second half of the season and realistically make a run, go, win 20 out of 30 or something in that sort of realm. And so if you get a team like Oregon State coming in, that's a top 5 club, top 20 RPI. If you were to win that series, in Nebraska over time has a history of winning some of these home series with ranked opponents, then you can continue that discussion and play meaningful baseball. If you don't, and if the skid continues and you get into April and your RPI is kind of where it is now, then yeah, it becomes finish in the top 12 of the Big Ten standings, go to Omaha and see what happens and try to make a run and get in that way, because they just haven't done themselves any favors with this tough schedule. They've set it up to where if they would have won games, they'd be in great spots, but through injury and effectiveness, a few different things, it hasn't happened. So yeah, you're getting to that point. You're not quite there where it's, make the tournament and go all the way, but we're getting there.
And see, I kind of landed on tournament or bust already, and maybe that's not fair, but I mean, losing the midweek game to Kansas State last night, really, Nebraska has the win over Vanderbilt in the season's opening weekend. And then, 2 out of 3 is best case scenario, I think, with the way Nebraska is playing, Oregon State being ranked in the top 5 in the country. Whether it's fair or not, Evan, I still just can't get the thought in my head out of the expectations for Nebraska before the year. Certainly we talked about them on this show. Husker baseball fans did as well. But even if Nebraska does, have the win over Vandy and the 2 over Oregon State, I can't help but think that some of the decision makers in the NCAA tournament selection committee would also have preseason expectations in mind. Maybe they won't, but they're human too. So even if Nebraska's numbers do match up, they're probably going to be on the lower end of qualifying numbers. I just think the vibe is just not good around Nebraska baseball, certainly at home, and I can't imagine it's much better in whatever that selection committee room is going to look like here in a couple months.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the selection committee from that perspective, Austin. Maybe this is where the Big Ten not being as much of a national brand could play into your favor a little bit, where, I'm not sure if these ADs from various warm weather southern locales were paying attention to, what Big Ten coaches thought in the preseason or heck, what I thought in the preseason. I thought they were going to be a favorite with what they had back, and it hasn't planned out that way. So, the numbers continue to set up to where at this point you still could make a run, and it's not like a ridiculous, like 25-2 sort of situation. Like if you start winning series the way that Nebraska's done over time, like mathematically there's a realistic path to that. But I think that's a different discussion than just the vibe that we've seen from the team lately and what it's showing right now. Especially offensively, they're really struggling to find the right lineup, to find a hot stick, to put the ball in play in key situations, to get clutch hits. There's just a lot that they're working through right now. And when you are struggling to score 3 or 4 runs a game in league play, then it puts a lot of pressure on your defense to be perfect and for your pitching to be spot on every time out. And so this team doesn't have kind of the look right now of one that's going to go on a run. Maybe some of that's coming off of a really long West Coast trip that they just did. They were on the road for 11 days, played 9 straight away from home. You get back into the central time zone and then you bus 6-hour round trip to go play at Kansas State. Like that's a grind. So if you want to make the case that they could do something, they're at home. The schedule is going to lighten up a little bit into more of a traditional Big Ten sort of look after this weekend. So those are sort of the positives. But yeah, just the struggles they've had, particularly in the lineup right now, would tell you that something's got to change, probably in an extreme sort of way for them to get to where they want to be.
The other question we've been getting that I wanted to bring up with you is how similar or different is the vibe of this 2025 season to what Nebraska went through back in 2022?
It's somewhat similar on the surface in that they had big expectations. They were coming off a regional year. People were excited and it fizzled. I think the difference though, to me, is like that 22 team, the guts of that team mostly moved on. You had a couple of young guys back. Max Anderson and Bryce Matthews were both sophomores at that point, and they were assuming leadership roles, but largely it was a new team. And I think in hindsight, you could kind of look back and say there was an awful lot assumed of that group just because of what they did in 21. I think this team is different in that, outside of Josh Caron at catcher, you could still bring back every single starter from the team that won the Big Ten tournament and went to a regional last year. You had Mason McConaughey, who got hurt. Obviously, that's a factor as well. But a number of the bullpen arms are the same. Jalen Wordley and Drew Christo and Caleb Clark and Jackson Brockett, like Will Walsh. These are all guys that had big moments for Nebraska last year, were key parts of the runs that they made. And for the most part, they've statistically at least regressed in large part. And so I think that's been the big surprise, is that so many of these guys that we saw perform well have all or largely taken steps back. So, not a great situation if you're Nebraska, but I think it also is another, it can be a point of optimism too, that says these guys have done it before. You're not asking them to do something they've never proven or performed at before. So we'll see kind of what they have in them at this point. But I think that's the biggest surprise, is so many of these guys have seen it, have done it, and it hasn't happened yet this year.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald here on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. Just looking up and down the lineup and the pitching rotation, Evan, I mean, it seems like Nebraska is still looking for those right combinations, right? And obviously on the pitching side, you lose Mason McConaughey. That's a problem. Tucker Timmerman goes down. That's a guy that was certainly expected to eat some innings for Nebraska in the bullpen. But even on the position player side, only two guys have played in all 24 games for Nebraska. It's Dylan Carey and then Caden Brumbaugh played in 24 of 24 games. A game like last night's against Kansas State should be a game that, yes, Nebraska wants to compete and win, but you have your handful of regulars sprinkled in there, but you're finding opportunities for young guys. I think maybe the biggest representation that some of those older guys that you mentioned that just aren't performing up to what they've done, a big sign that that's the case is that Nebraska's 24 games in, basically half the schedule gone, and they still don't know what their everyday, general lineup is. That's kind of a problem, where you lose the ability to tinker in midweeks because you're forced to tinker, trying to search to find something, anything, and then you do, but it disappears again by the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to do it sort of on the fly, and now you've missed on enough opportunities that you don't have the chance in the midweek, or the pitching hasn't maybe been steady enough that you have the chance in the midweek to say, okay, let's see what this young guy has, or let's give that guy a chance. Like, you're constantly, you're trying to optimize your lineup every time out, and we saw all kinds of stuff that they threw at the wall on the West Coast trip. I mean, they're trying Devin Nunez in left field. They're moving Caden Brumbaugh from second base into the outfield. They've been playing Riley Silva and Robbie Bolin both in the outfield at the same time, when in a lot of ways they're sort of the same set the table sort of player as a center fielder. So they're trying all kinds of stuff. And if you hit, you're not going to sit is kind of the one of the mantras that the team has, and not a lot of guys are hitting. And so there's a lot of rotation still going on, and I think it's confounding in a lot of ways. I mean, Tyler Stones, who was an all Big Ten second teamer last year, he's been in and out of the lineup at first base. Keith Sanderson's been hot lately, and he sat for a number of games on their trip out west. So yeah, I mean, you're going to have a couple of guys that you have to play because of what they bring defensively, with what you mentioned with Carey and Brumbaugh, but everybody else, like there's enough depth, there's enough bats on that roster to where you can cycle through some guys, and they're definitely doing that. You probably want 10 to 12 guys that get the bulk of your plate appearances and your starts week in and week out, and that number is a lot bigger than that right now. They'd love to trim that thing down a little bit. We'll see if it happens. You'd love to especially have it figured out before conference play. And as you mentioned, here we are halfway through the season, and they're still looking for, I think, more answers than they would be comfortable having right now.
A name that we didn't talk about much, if at all, in the preseason, and with the schedule interruptions, haven't had a chance to catch up on, is Devin Nunez, right? He provided some highlights for Nebraska in their win over USC over the weekend. What have you seen from Nunez? What is the staff like from him? I mean, he leads the team with a .319 batting average. What's led to his success early on in his Husker career?
Yeah, bright individual story. Kid from Texas who impressed coaches at a camp when he was in high school, and one of the rare position freshman players on the team. And he, to my knowledge, wasn't a huge part of what they expected for this offense to be in the preseason, but he gets a chance with a lot of the slumping going on elsewhere, and just has been working some really solid at bats, working walks, can hit the off speed as well as the fastball. And he's a little bit versatile defensively too. They started him out at designated hitter, but he's come on as an infielder, and now even in left field a little bit too. So, when you're hitting second as a freshman, you're obviously doing something right. I think, again, Nebraska would prefer maybe that opportunity didn't come about, because it means some older guys that they were counting on haven't produced at the level they were hoping for. But it does look like, Nunez is kind of the latest in that run of guys that when you're a freshman infielder at Nebraska getting regular action, things tend to go well in that career. You're talking about guys like Schwellenbach and Matthews and Max Anderson and Dylan Carey. Like, there's just not a lot of guys that do what he's doing right now. And so we'll see kind of how that plays out for the rest of his career, but certainly he's a bat that they have at the top of the lineup, and they're looking for him to help spark things at the moment.
And then another guy that was maybe forced into some action that he wasn't supposed to be at the beginning of the year is Will Walsh, Friday guy. He'll get the ball just announced by the Husker Baseball Twitter account on Friday against Oregon State. 3.90 ERA, but what stands out to me, Evan, is 35 strikeouts, just 3 unintentional walks issued for Will Walsh. How do you think he's handled that jump from Saturday guy to Friday guy so far?
Yeah, I mean, really well. Yeah, he was kind of on the bubble as the Sunday guy with Jackson Brockett to start the season. He's moved up through, again, injury and ineffectiveness, and it's been that Friday guy. A year ago, he was pretty much a kind of a junk thrower, like a lot of soft contact and strikes, and he's still that, but now he's throwing a little bit harder as well, missing a few more bats as a fifth-year guy who redshirted way back in the day. So he's got the age and the experience. Obviously, we've seen what he can do in the Big Ten tournament over the last couple of years when he's going the distance and helping them out. But in some ways, he's the guy that you want on a Friday, because you feel like he's probably got the best chance to go deepest into the game. Like, he can give you like 6 innings, and it's not outlandish to think he could go 7 and save some of your bullpen for later in the weekend. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that plays in his favor. And then certainly the culture under pitching coach Rob Childress is you better be throwing strikes. And to your point, just 3 unintentional walks. He puts the ball over the plate, not a lot of free passes, which has even more value in the college game than it does at the professional level, just having that level of command. So he's trying to stabilize things at the top, maybe not the most naturally gifted pitcher in terms of stuff on the roster, but certainly their most reliable at this point.
I know you'll be writing about this probably in the days to come, but briefly, without giving away everything you'll write about, what's 1 or 2 things you're going to watch out for either Nebraska or Oregon State in the series this weekend?
Well, I mean, the big challenge for Nebraska is going to be offensively still. Their struggles we've talked about, but Oregon State, I mean, that's a top 5 staff in terms of earned run average. They've got a kid named Dax Whitney who turned down 7 figures in the Major League Baseball draft to play in college. And so he's got stuff. They've got a couple older left-handers that are going to start this weekend that are really good. So it's kind of what it's been. Like, Nebraska is going to have to find a way to battle and be really fine in the other phases of the game to be able to contend. It's a quality team. It's a rare team too to come to Nebraska that's in the top 25, much less the top 5. I mean, I think you got to go back to maybe 2017, the last time Nebraska's had a ranked opponent into Haymarket Park, which is kind of hard to believe, but it's just kind of how it's played out. So big opportunity, kind of like I said, like I feel like this is sort of their last big opportunity from an RPI standpoint to make a statement. And, over the years, they've tended to do pretty well in these kind of situations, even with some of Nebraska's teams that haven't been as good. So we'll see if coming home and settling into their friendly confines make a bit of a difference here. But there's no doubt this is a really tough Oregon State team, one that's used to playing in Omaha just down the road. And, it should be a fun weekend.
7 p.m., 2 p.m., and 12 p.m. first pitches for Nebraska and Oregon State over the weekend. We'll be following along, as will Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Give him a follow on Twitter at Evan Bland OWH. Subscribe at omaha.com to read everything Evan writes and more. Didn't get a chance to talk spring ball, Evan, but I'm sure we'll catch up with that in the weeks to come. Nice to catch up with you again, man. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. See ya.
Evan joined us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Short break. Bring Jay Foreman back in to wrap up On the Block. Get you set up for Old School in just a moment.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a few sprinkles possible, otherwise partly sunny with a light breeze and a high around 70. Tonight, a chance of showers late, otherwise partly cloudy with a low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny and warm with a high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934 HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back one final time here during On the Block. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. We'll also be with you for Old School for the next hour. Final segment of the show brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Get your tickets to watch and play at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston at lovboma.com. Lots to get to on Old School, Jay. Let's get a little bit of NFL news out of the way. Stephon Diggs from Buffalo to Houston to New England. Interesting move. I don't hate it for the Pats or for Diggs.
I mean, you got a young quarterback that he can kind of – I mean, it's not quite like Josh Allen, but Drake May, I think, had a productive year. Also think that he'll respect Mike Vrabel. I think he's respected DeMeco Ryans, but I think it just – you know, he's going to be the number one receiver, and that's what he wants. He knows the AFC East. You know, for him, you know, coming back off an injury, but – more importantly, you know, being able to get a pretty good, and he's a little bit longer in his career to get a, you know, pretty good contract, at least for, you know, 2 years or possibly 2 years, especially with the signing bonus is really good for him.
Well, potentially 3.
Well, I'm
three and up to $69 million.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
saying.
Pretty good. Yeah.
If he performs this year on and off the field, which, you know, they all kind of go hand in hand. And I think Vrabel will give him enough, you know, a long enough leash to let him code, you know, he does all the fashion stuff. And I like New England's market so he can't get distracted. Obviously,
that stadium's out in the middle of nowhere.
And the city is not, you know, as attractive. But I think then you get year 2. And then you go back to the negotiation table because I'm sure that the cap number would be too high. So I like it for him.
How many years can an NFL receiver play at a high level? Like, he's 34. How many years do you think he has left in the tank? Do you think that, like, quarterback receiver is the position that's getting older? Or is it a young man's position?
I think it's both, but I think if as you get older, you have to realize you're not the guy, and you know it's kind of like you have to come to terms with, and you know with these guys now, I think it's a lot easier to stay in the NFL. I think it's just, I mean, you can play 10 years if you just got a little bit of heart. Now you got to have athletic ability and all this stuff, but I think one of the things, especially at that position, and he's crafty, he's smart. He's tough. He can play outside, I think, for another year or two, especially for another year. And then he definitely would be dangerous inside, you know, against a linebacker like me. You have to be willing to probably not play at the same pay rate, but you have to come back in like phenomenal shape as you get older. Maybe get a little bit lighter and leaner and all that stuff, and have to be willing to play I would call like a efficiency output role, like where you don't get the volume of touches or targets, but your production is there. And then you have to be a leader inside the wide receiver room. So that's where you can add on a couple years,
Mhm.
you know. And so sometimes when you've been at the peak, you're not willing to do it. Now it just comes down to how much you want, willing to play, chance to win Super Bowl. You know, if you're on a team that's like the Raiders or something like that, you might not want to do it there. But I think, if you want to extend your career, I'd definitely be an option for him, especially also if he doesn't start on an opening day roster, he can get picked up for a playoff run.
That's where I think a guy like Stephon Diggs, I would say Cooper Kupp, except for the injuries. I'll throw even Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams in this conversation. I think guys like those are more in the Jerry Rice mold of good enough athletically, but more technician, right?
Yeah.
Better route runners, a little savvier. Where, again, not saying Jamar Chase can't run routes, but I think a guy like him, where he's so dependent on that first step off the line and yards after catch, I feel like age is going to hit him a lot quicker than it will some of these other guys. Not soon, but I think he's a guy that's a 32, 33 instead of a 34, 36, 37
And
guy.
and then that's when you get older, you got to really try to work on the nuances of route running, different roles. The offenses have to be. Look at Adam Thielen.
Yeah, that's
right.
another one.
He was fast enough. He's kind of like Stephon Diggs. Definitely could get earlier in his career, he could get behind you. Now he's Mr. Consistency, and he's you wouldn't think he'd still be playing. I think he's still down in Carolina.
Yeah.
So just kind of whatever they want to do, and that's it's a blessing and a curse, because it's not really a curse, but it's a blessing that like a guy like myself, you weren't afforded these options to do it when you get late in your career. It's a different position, but then also circumstances. Sometimes these guys don't appreciate what they have until it's gone.
Let the people know what we got on Old School.
We're gonna do some NFL stuff. I mean, Mr. What's he called? Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr.
Danger
Unlimited.
Russ.
Danger Russ is going to New Jersey. I think his wife is more excited about it than him. And then what does it mean for Pittsburgh Steelers? We'll talk some draft. I guess we'll go a little bit of pro day. I'll just talk about what pro days are like, depending on what you do at the combine. And obviously we'll do a little bit of a spring football. Like what we're going to talk about is, if I was in college, who would we like the co-scrimmage with? And then I'll go a little bit of experience when we did it with the Cowboys and, like in the NFL. So
I like it. That'll be Old School. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman comes your way in just a sec.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The